I will tell you what, after we have a lot of buyer consults or listing consults, we always walk out of it and Julianne always tells me like, we've never lost one of these and we're going to keep it that way. Like we get these clients when we want them and we make it happen. And I think that confidence speaks volumes of, not only your knowledge in the business, but just how much you believe in the product that you're putting on the table.
Hi everybody, welcome back to another Workout Wednesday. Thank you for joining us for the first week of March. For this video, we have a very special guest, another group out of our Avondale office, the Grant Johnson group with Alex Sheperd and Julianne Grant Johnson. Welcome.
Hello. How you doing? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, super excited to get y'all on a video. Before we start going into our topic today, which is about prospecting buyers, I do ask things from typically our teams about the same question. I want to learn a little bit more about each of y'all. First, how y'all kind of got started in real estate, and then how y'all formed your team, what that decision process was like.
Sure. I'll let Julianne start since she's the lead.
So I got started in real estate just exactly 5 years ago, actually. February was my 5-year anniversary.
Congratulations. Yeah. I didn't know that. All right.
Thank you.
I should know that.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Yes, it was my 5-year anniversary. I stayed home with my first daughter for 1 year, and on her first birthday, I started work. I was ready to get out and get working. And my grandmother was actually a realtor, and when I became a military spouse, I was a little bit lost on what am I going to do. I worked super hard to get a finance degree from the University of Florida. Now I'm living this military life. I have kids. And that's when I was like, I'm going to follow in my family's, path and become a realtor. And that's what I did. It, kickstarted really fast. I fell in love with it. The team, I'll let Alex give a little background on him first, and then we can go into why we became a team.
Sure. So we spoke a little bit before recording, but went to the University of Florida and graduated with a degree in public relations, and ended up getting a job at an advertising agency here called St. John & Partners, now known as St. John. Met a lot of great people, had a great time working there, and honestly, that helped transition into real estate because working with PR, you're working with people almost every single day. Yeah. And then ultimately after about 3.5, 4 years there, this is right before COVID really started to kick in, I was like, you know what, my wife's uncle is a realtor with the company. Let me ask him if he thinks I'd be a great fit. Spoke with him and ended up interviewing here and ultimately just kind of fell into it. And it was a great fit. It was something that felt fulfilling because I get to help people, and that's ultimately what PR was trying to, whether it was helping clients or helping people with things that you're doing for your clients. It made me feel whole. So it was a great fit. And then ultimately after, I actually came into the company around the same time as Julianne, just a few months after. Yeah. So I'm not at 5 years quite yet, but I'm working on it. Ultimately after about 4 years of doing my own business and Julianne doing hers, we decided to form a team. And I'll kind of let her talk about how that came to be because I think it just kind of happened naturally, but it ended up working out for the best. So I'll let you take it from there.
I always kind of use the word organic for our team, which I think is something unique about our team also. It really did happen naturally. I was on baby number 3. Why do I, keep having children?
Please no more. Please let's just stop there. We're good.
So I was on baby number 3. My husband was deployed while I was pregnant, and I was telling Josh, I don't want to slow down. My business is growing. Yeah. I want to keep doing this. I can keep prospecting, but I literally cannot go to all these showings. Yes. One, I had medical issues that stopped it, but also, if I've got 4 buyers in from out of town on the same weekend, no one can do all of that. Yeah. So Josh really connected us. And Alex became my feet on the ground when I could not be. And it just seemed so perfect that one of us could focus on prospecting while one of us could be out, I would say in the field doing, the in-person work. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know, after a year, we were kind of like, why are we not a team? Why don't we do this? We could really grow together, and that's when it happened.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt that we're both Gators too. So like that helps the dynamic. Just destined to be.
So yeah, whenever I do coordinate these videos, I try and look around our roster and see who would be a fun video, and then I ask brokers as well. I say, here's the list of topics for X amount of months and what week it's doing it, if you have any ideas for people that would want to come on. And Josh immediately got back to me and said, prospecting buyers, Grant Johnson Group, they're going to be great for it. So I'm glad I could get y'all on. And two, when I saw y'all get into a team, I had known about each of you individually. So when I heard that y'all were joining, I was like, that's going to be a perfect group. And y'all been killing it. I've loved seeing all y'all's success.
That's how I felt when I heard about you. I was like, wow, this guy really knows what he's doing. So glad to have you here, and thanks for having us.
So on to our topic today for prospecting for buyers. How have your strategies surrounding prospecting buyers changed since you first started in real estate?
Want me to start? You want to go?
You can start.
I'll start. All right. Yeah, we could just go back and forth. When you first get started, it's really pushed to do a lot of open houses to make sure that when people come through that door, they're seeing you in person. And I think that still holds true. Granted, now that we're a little bit busier, it's harder for us to do open houses consistently when we have showings almost every single weekend. So had to adapt to that and make it a little bit more digital focused, while also, when we're out doing events or certain networking events, making sure that we can promote our business naturally and make it a little bit more like normal to have the conversation, like, hey, like, we're realtors, but like, are you in the market for a house? Not just being like trying to sell them on it right away, and act like we're trying to take their business and that's all we care about. So when I first started, a lot of open houses, and then from there, really transitioning to use some of our automation, some of our programs that help make it a little bit more hands-off. And then when we do have the opportunity to do stuff in person, really pushing to do like, another open house on one of our listings, or going to a networking event and working our sphere. Julianne obviously has a great sphere with the Navy clients that we have. And I'll let her touch on her side now.
So super similar type of progression from a prospecting standpoint. I think we're all told to start with open houses. I like that too, from just gaining confidence. Like that's really where I learned to talk the lingo and get in front of new people. So it puts you in those on-the-spot positions and really trains you on how to have conversations when prospecting. Definitely social media, and I would say a progression was learning to go all in on these things. When I started, I was like not really comfortable in front of the camera, not confident, not doing these things, and now I've learned like there is a direct correlation with my post on social and the amount of posts I'm doing and new business. Something else that I do now, I speak a lot at different things, so I'm actually going, well, I guess this is going to air in March, so sorry, I'll talk in the wrong dates. I'm speaking at the Naval Academy about the buyer process to people about to graduate. So we sold tickets, we've sold over 300. So that'll be getting in front of all of these people. Some will come to Jacksonville, some won't, but they will all be posting about us, which is great. The networking is huge, and just like Alex said, being natural. Every event, every conversation is not about signing a new buyer. It's about growing our sphere and them seeing us as top of mind as the real estate experts.
I really like that a lot, that you get to speak to the Naval Academy, because I mean, it is such a large buyer pool down here, especially with Mayport and Jack's, NES Jack's. Y'all talked a little bit about these with the confidence and networking and going to open houses, but what characteristics or skills do you think are essential for effective prospecting?
It's I don't know how many two people ones you do, but it's like we never know which one to start. I guess whoever speaks last, we'll just go to the other person and move that way, I guess.
So I have an answer from like a real estate person standpoint, not really for the consumer, but organization. None of this prospecting means anything if you can't keep track of your contacts. So I keep a very detailed database of when I talk to people, even like when they go into my contact list, all of these things. I have them color coded. Like, I think the organization is super important. But then as far as actual prospecting and getting out there and meeting people, it's just being yourself and being authentic. I also think you have to genuinely want to be around the people that you're prospecting. I can see straight through when I see some realtors posting in Facebook groups and stuff about being a real estate agent. That's not authentic. I want to actually go to coffee, sit down, let's be friends, you know.
Yeah, there's nothing like a Julianne calendar. It's like seeing 15 rainbows. It's a lot of color coordination, which is great for us because it really outlines, the how organized she wants to be, and it sets a tone for the team.
It's a pro and a con.
More pros than cons. But for me, it's a lot about how you have to have a certain level, in my eyes, of like charisma and confidence with. Yes, you need to be genuine, you need to be authentic, but nobody wants to work with a robot who doesn't understand that you're a human, that you have some amount of empathy and understanding of the situation that they're in. There's people, everyone who comes to you, regardless of where they are at in their life, has something going on. We all have trouble and difficulties, great things, and I think that coming to it with a level of compassion, but also with this confidence that, you know what, I'm going to help this person get where they want to go. I think that is a huge part of it, because if you walk in there and you're like, I'm a realtor and I could help you find a house, and if you want, like, it doesn't really project like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to make this happen. And so I think projecting that confidence, having some compassion, understanding your client's needs is a huge way to be able to pull in new business and help somebody trust you.
I actually really like that. It reminds me, a few weeks ago, I filmed with Marilyn Gilman and Aubrey. They were talking about, or Marilyn was specifically talking about how she switched her mindset from going to, I'm going to go into a listing appointment, I might get this listing, to I'm going in here and I'm getting this listing. Like, I'm going to plan like I already have the job. And she said it's changed just so much of how her business has worked and how much more effective that simple switch can be. Yeah. So I think I like that you touched on that confidence.
Yeah. And I want to say I made a very similar switch, especially in buyer consults. I'm not like, are they going to sign my exclusive rep agreement? I'm like, I'm sending this to you, so excited to work together.
Yeah. Yep. And like, literally all of her texts say that. Yeah. And I will tell you what, after we have a lot of buyer consults or listing consults, we always walk out of it, and Julianne always tells me, like, we've never lost one of these and we're going to keep it that way. Like, we get these clients when we want them and we make it happen. And I think that confidence speaks volumes of, not only your knowledge in the business, but just how much you believe in the product that you're putting on the table and the amount of experience that you're bringing. It's a lot about confidence. It's a lot about charisma. It's a lot about being knowledgeable in your field. And I think that's what we try to do.
So on your topic of organization, what prospecting tools do you think are most effective, and how are you balancing that automation with your in-person connections?
So this is really something that we are working on, which probably is how business should be. This should always be evolving. You should always be using new technology. Berkshire Hathaway obviously gives us some great tools. We're diving into Real Scout. I've started uploading contacts in there, so working on that, like automated nurturing. But some examples of things that I do that are different than our company provided automations. I sent a lot of Starbucks gift cards, like a lot of them. On Mother's Day, I got up before doing anything, telling my mom Happy Mother's Day. I got up and sent every single mom client I'd ever worked with a $10 Starbucks gift card. So it's coming from my number. It's personal. I sent a little message with it. To all of my clients watching, I promise it's really genuine. It's not just a business fact.
Is there a team member appreciation day that I can get a Starbucks gift card? I haven't heard about that yet.
I've sent you a good number.
You did send me one for Christmas, I believe, so I'll take it.
Then you're like, oh wait, I don't drink caffeine.
I can't drink caffeine, okay? Sorry.
So that's one example. I set for one of my goals. I save all of my goals year to year. one of my goals a couple of years ago was to do more in-person. This was also post-COVID, so we were all craving that in-person contact. But to do like an in-person lunch 1 to 2 times a month, things like that that it's me and not the automation. Yeah. There is a lot of automation in today's world, and I do think that it goes a long way when it's actually coming from us.
Mm-hmm. It's a balance because, I mean, all of us have had the experience of getting these automated emails, not specifically in real estate, but any company you go shop at and you get 50 automated emails every month, and it makes you just want to unsubscribe right away. And so you want to make sure that you're balancing the use of that automation to make sure that, yeah, you're touching that client every month and getting them something that has your name on it. But you also want to make sure that you are reaching out by text or giving them a call and saying, hey, it's been a while since we've met up. Let's go to a game or let's go get lunch, just like Julianne was saying. Yeah. Because I think COVID changed a lot for all of us, because I remember, when we couldn't really do open houses during COVID, we couldn't go have those in-person meetings, and it was very much stymied by the virus. So when we came out of that, a lot of people are looking to meet up to actually have that face-to-face contact. And so now we're really trying to push that, where we balance this automation of Real Scout and the home valuations that it provides and the nurturing that it provides, but also making sure that we make it a point to go meet these people in person. If we can do a buyer consult in person, that's our primary goal. With a lot of our clients being VA, they impossible. Can't, but if they are in town, we make it a point to make it happen. And so it's just a beautiful little dance that we do every single time.
Absolutely. Speaking of VA buyers, how did y'all start working with VA buyers, and what is the qualifying process? How is that different from a non-VA buyer?
That's all you.
So this was really like a natural given for me. My husband's an active duty Navy pilot. So my very first client was someone who was stationed with him it was Mayport at the time. Yeah. And then he just started referring me to more and more people. I found that every VA client I worked with would ultimately send me another piece of business. The biggest thing is that I truly understand what they are going through. I understand that, a lot of our clients don't even get their schedule until the night before. How hard is that to plan around? Yeah. Half of them aren't here. Some of them are deployed on ships. We've had people on subs. We've had people in Japan, California, all sorts of places. So understanding the sight unseen, understanding that they may not even be able to FaceTime. Yeah. All of those things I have experienced and I understand. I've bought and sold my own houses that way with my husband on a ship. Yeah. So I get it from that standpoint. From a professional standpoint, Alex and I both have our military relocation professional certification. That was a mouthful, but we both did that.
MRPs.
To back up, what we're talking about and what we claim to be experts on. I think we did about 38 VA loans in 2024.
Yeah, a lot of our clients were VA.
And so that really is what we're excellent at. We work around the 3 bases, Kings Bay, even up in Georgia. They love the Florida tax benefits, so that's great for us. Mayport and NAS Jax. And that's really, it's really my specialty. That's my bread and butter. I love it. It also goes back to that prospecting topic of I live this life already. So it's a very, very natural integration for me.
And then to touch a little bit on the qualification and the process of being a VA buyer, I think that it kind of gets a bad rap by a lot of sellers saying, oh, it's so difficult to get a VA buyer in
Definitely
here.
Definitely best that you answer this, because I'll go off on a tangent for an hour about people saying bad things about the VA list.
Yeah, because people think that it's just this really stringent process and strict about what needs to happen. It's just, there's really only one major difference between what a VA client needs and what a conventional or FHA loan needs with repairs, and that's WDO. You have to have a clean WDO. But when it comes to qualifying the buyer,
they're typically easier to qualify because they have the set income.
Yeah, they have a set income, and the people who work with, we have some great lending partners that we work with, Meredith included, who understand that VA is really not much different than a conventional loan or an FHA loan. And so hopefully that stigma can go away, because VA buyers are some of the best clients that we have. They understand the process, and we do our best to walk them through what that home buying process looks like. And we've had multiple different occasions where we've had to go to sellers because on the MLS they don't list VA as a possible financing option. We ask them why, and they say, "Oh, I don't know. We'll accept it, I guess." And it's like, okay, well, why isn't it in the MLS? So
it's another, I think, issue in the real estate business is it's not just the seller and consumers not knowing that it's easy to do a VA loan. It's that the listing agent isn't always well versed in it. So we have to talk them through it. So it's very important that Alex and I are the experts on that, and that we know those things. And I mean, the two of us can go through a showing and be like, "Oh, we're good on WDO. Oh, we're not good on it," from
party board
on an informal standpoint.
Yeah.
And so we're like, "Why are you even stressed about this? It's a brick house."
Yeah, it's a brick house. You're not gonna have a lot of wood on it, but yeah, it's fortunate that I grew up. My uncle was a lieutenant colonel in the Army. My neighbor was a captain in the Navy based out of NAS Jax. And so I grew up around it, but I don't have the same lived experience that Julianne has. So she knows what they're going through. I did not, my parents were not military. So I grew up, in a very conventional household where I did have neighbors and family that were service members, but I didn't live it. And now Julianne has lived that. She knows what it's like to be a spouse of an active duty pilot and all these people that we encounter every single day. And so it really helps inform us on, we get it. We know what you're going through. It goes back to what I was talking about earlier with the compassion and the understanding and the empathy is, when some of these people, we have to work with them on getting a power of attorney because one of them is going to be deployed and the wife has to take over or the husband has to take over for their partner. And, it's great having Julianne's experience with that, because DJ, we have a JD and a DJ. Yeah. DJ has
Husband
been deployed.
DJ. We have a lender, JD.
JD. There's far too many. Another thing about military clients, a lot of acronyms and things like that. DJ, has been deployed multiple different times
he's gone now.
He's gone right now. Yeah. So Julianne knows what that's like, and that's a time when I come in and learn about that and take over whatever is needed so that she can take care of her 3 daughters and her personal life as well. So, anyways, that's a long-winded answer.
But you guys are a priority, so I'm here today.
Okay, thank you for being here.
We appreciate it.
We could have photoshopped you in later, just like a cardboard box right here. Yeah.
So, and that just all goes back to just that confidence. You're just breeding that confidence for your buyers. So I really love that. Just a final question before we wrap up here. What advice would you give to any new real estate agent regarding prospecting?
I was going to say, don't be afraid to mess up. Put yourself out there. Don't be scared. Get your name in front of people, whether it is the open houses, social media, whatever. Don't be timid or scared. It will work if you are authentic in yourself.
Yeah, I remember when I first started, the biggest thing was I was so afraid that somebody was going to ask me a question, whether it's a more experienced agent or a buyer or a seller of, something that I didn't know. And that's a scary place to be in because you get this license, you work so hard on all your classes, passing your exam, but it's kind of like college when you get yourself a degree, but you really don't get it until you have the job.
Yes.
You learn so much on the job. And so if you're just getting started, it's, for me, a lot about don't worry about it. Just say, I don't know the answer to that, but I'll find out. People will respect you a lot more if you, instead of lying to them or trying to come up with an answer out of the blue, if you say, I don't know what that answer is, but I'll find out. Be genuine, be authentic, like we talked about, be confident. Even if that confidence is saying, I don't know, say, I'm going to find that answer for you and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. People will respect that about you. So don't be scared to find the answer and just tell somebody that you get back to them, and then just be your genuine self as much as possible. I think that pays a lot of dividends in the end.
I love that you said that. We're cut from the same cloth. I think a lot of people don't understand that saying I don't know is not a terrible thing all the time. No.
We should always be learning. Yeah. Every day I learn new things. We're presented with new challenges at work all the time. So we should all always be learning. And we're definitely still faced with questions that we have to call Josh about. Yeah.
Thank goodness for Josh. Let me just I need to throw a plug in there for Josh because there's been about 500 questions I've sent him in the last year and a half that he always answers. And so that's another great thing about Berkshire Hathaway is we have great brokers who are very knowledgeable, and they're here to help you. That's what their job is to train you, to help you. And so all those new agents, I'm sorry, brokers, you might not want to hear this. Use your broker as much as possible. Text them as many questions as you can. That's what they're there for. Ask fellow agents as well. If, find somebody who can be your mentor, who's been in the company 5+ years and can teach you things. There's so many great things that you can do to improve yourself as an agent.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Well, that kind of wraps us up for here. I just want to thank you all again, really, for coming on. This was an awesome conversation. Getting to hear both of you all dispense your knowledge is really fun. But I will put all of their social media, their website on screen and down below, so you guys can go check them out more, because they do put out a lot of fun social media stuff. I will recommend check out the speed tour video if you want to go look at that. That was funny. But other than that, we will see you guys next week for our next guest on Workout Wednesday. Take care.